Combined efforts by the Regional Council and local landowners are helping to restore water quality in Lake Rotoehu in the Bay of Plenty. The long-term plan is to use a range of technologies and management techniques designed to remove excess nutrients from the lake.
We're on Lake Rotoehu, which is one of the lakes within the restoration program for Bay of Plenty Regional Council. It's about an 800 hectare lake. It's a lake that's been eutrophic, so it's had too much algae growing in it. We've put together a program of restoration, and it's one of the lakes within our 12 lake program. So we're looking at how we restore this lake using different techniques, and also looking at researching those techniques to how applicable they might be to some of the other lakes within our program. So some of the bigger lakes, particularly Lake Rotoehu, which is about 10 times bigger than this lake here. All land has an impact on the lake, even forest land, and there's also nutrients come from rainfall. And what we've got to do is we've got to turn that nutrient load back to a sustainable load. And that's what we've done through our work with the community and the landowners, is we've worked out what is a sustainable load, and we've confirmed that with the scientists, and then we've worked through a program as to how do we get the lake back to receiving a sustainable load from the catchment that feeds into it. We're standing on a floating wetland here, an artificial floating wetland. The wetland's just one of the components that we've got to help restore the lake, and there's a whole, I guess, raft of components that we've got together. Some of them are short-term things, like we do alum dosing, and we've got another aeration plant in the lake which helps prevent the lake from losing its oxygen and releasing nutrients. And then we go to sort of more long-term things like changing of the land use around the catchment, working with the owners of that land to see if we can get changes in the way they farm the land to reduce the amount of nutrients getting to the lake long term. This is the aeration unit, so it's designed to mix the lake during the summertime when it starts to stratify and lose its oxygen, and that prevents the lake from releasing nutrients from the sediments. And we've got 2 of these in the lake. It's pretty much an experiment we're doing, and it's being led by the University of Waikato. We've got a lot of monitoring around this to see what it does to water quality, and we're also doing monitoring around things like kora to see what it does in terms of habitat for them. This is a traditional Tiarawa method of fishing. It's called tau kora, and basically they put sinking lines into the lake which have bundles of bracken fern tied to them, and that just creates a habitat for the kora. They come and live in there over the intervening 4 to 6 weeks where the line's down in the lake, and then after that time period it's lifted up and they scoop the fern bundles out with a net and they can catch all the kora that are on there. I don't think anybody should think there's just one silver bullet to fixing these lakes. There's a whole lot of things that you need to do, and I think we need to be careful that we're not writing things off because we're not sure that they're that beneficial until we actually trial them out. And so that's why we've got a range of different interventions here. The only thing that I'd add to that is that if you only were allowed to do one intervention, I think the most important intervention is land use change. Sustainable land use within the catchment is the long-term thing. But if you've got the opportunity to do other things, you can accelerate the changes to the lake or the improvement to the lake by doing some in-lake and in-stream things.
Tautara Matawhāora is 3,600 hectares total, of which we have 1,500 hectares in grass. I think the farming has had an impact on the lake, and the Trust is working to mitigate some of those effects. Riparian plantings on the lake edge, the exclusion of stock from the lake, some of the riparian plantings along feeding streams. The Trust has been active in promoting the planting of native plants and conversion of farmland to forestry. Some of the strategies have actually led to an improvement in our ability to farm here and led to some efficiencies in how we operate our farm. Our land tenure here, we're looking towards that into the future and maintaining that. But as time goes on, it's becoming more and more difficult in terms of how we produce income for our owners. And hopefully some of the strategies that are being developed around our farming operation will assist us there.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.